We're going to look at adding and subtracting radicals. So to see the connection, we're just going to look at adding like terms. 6x plus 7y minus 10x plus 14x minus 10y. Well, we have two different terms, the x's and the y's. We combine the x's, 6 and negative 10 is negative 4, plus 14 is 10, so 10x, and 7y and negative 10y, negative 3y. They're not like terms, we can't go any farther, that's it. Well, it's the same thing with variables. 6 root 5, we're going to combine with negative 10 root 5 and 14 root 5. 6 plus negative 10 is negative 4, plus 14, 10 root 5. They're the same, so we keep it the same. 7 root 3 and negative 10 root 3. 7 and negative 10 gives me negative 3, and root 3 just goes along for the ride. So I have 10 root 5 minus 3 root 3, and they're not like terms. This is root 5, this is root 3, they're not the same, can't add them. So when we're adding radicals, these two steps, first you have to simplify them, just like what we've been doing recently. Then you add like radicals. So if we look at this example, well, 7 and 3 can't be factored anymore. They're prime. 21, you can factor to 3 and 7, but there's no pairs, so we're just going to leave it at how it is. So 5 root 21 doesn't have any like terms, we just leave it. And then negative 13 root 7 and negative 6 root 7, we can combine those to get negative 17 root 7. But we don't have anything for the root 3. So 10 root 3. So we have 3 terms because we had 3 different square roots. And that's okay. Here's another example. 5 root 8 minus root 180 plus root 18 plus 6 root 18 minus root 45. So we got to do a lot of work. Start with 5 root 8. We'll bring the 5 down. 8 splits into 3 2's. So I have a pair of 2's I bring out. I have 1 2 on the outside and 2 on the inside. So the 5 and the 2 on the outside multiply together, we get 10, and 2 is still just inside by itself, so 10 root 2. Square root of 180, we can factor 180 all the way down into 2 2's, 2 3's, and 5. We circle our pairs. We have a pair of 2's, a pair of 3's, so I bring out a 2 and a 3. 5 doesn't have a pair, it's still stuck inside, and then we multiply the 2 and 3 together, so 6 root 5. Root 18, we can break that down at 2 and 2 3's. Pair of 3's, we bring that out. The 2 stays inside, so 3 root 2. 6 root 18, we bring the 6 down. We don't forget about it, but then we look at the 18. 18 can be broken down into 2 and 2 3's. I have a pair of 3's, I bring that out, and I multiply that 3 with the 6 that's already there, so 18. 2 is by itself on the inside, it stays there, so 18 root 2. And lastly, root 45, we can break that down to 2 3's and a 5. Pair of 3's, bring out the 3. 5 doesn't have a pair, it stays inside. So, we have 10 root 2 minus 6 root 5 plus 3 root 2 plus 18 root 2 minus 3 root 5. So our root 2's we add together, 10, 3, and 18, gives us 31 root 2, and our root 5's together, negative 6 and negative 3, so negative 9 root 5. It's just like adding like terms. Next one here, well, the cube root of 375, we can break that down into 3 5's and a 3. We're looking for groups of 3 now, because the index is 3, so we can bring out 1 5 and 1 3 doesn't have a group. So 5 times the cube root of 3. Negative 40. Remember, if we have a negative, we just bring out the negative as well, and then we ignore it. 40 can be broken down into 3 2's and a 5. We have a group of 2's, so we bring out a 2, and we have the 5 has no group, so it stays inside. 24, we can break down into 3 2's and a 3. We have a group of 3's then. We take it out, and we multiply it with the 5 that's already there. So 5 times 2 gives us 10. 3 is by itself on the inside, so it stays inside. 10 root 3, 10 times the cubed root of root 3. So we have 5 cubed root 3, 4 cubed root 5, minus 2 cubed root 5, plus 10 cubed root 3. So our 3's we add together, 5 and 10, so 15 cubed root 3. And our root 5's we add together, 4 and negative 2 gives me 2. And they're not like terms, we can't add root 3 and root 5. Alright, some more examples here. Cube root of 24, we can factor that into 3 2's and a 3. We're looking for groups of 3 because of the index. So we bring out a 2, left with a 3. 180 can be broken down into 2 6's and a 5. Now we're looking for pairs, and I have them. I can break down 6 or more, but I already have a pairs. So I bring out a 6, and 5 is left over, stays inside. 20 can be broken down to 4 and 5, and 2, 2 and 5. Pair of 2's, we bring out a 2, keep the 5 on the inside. So we have 2 cubed root of 3 plus 4 cubed root of 3 because we couldn't do anything with that. That's already simplified. Negative 6 root 5 plus 2 root 5. So we have 2 cubed roots. We add those together. 2 and 4 is 6. So 6 times the cubed root of 3. And then we have 2 square roots. So negative 6 and 2 gives me negative 4 root 5. And again, we can't add these. They don't have the same index, and they don't have the same radical. Letter B here. 3 root 72, we bring the 3 down. 72 breaks into 3 2's and 2 3's, and it's square root, so we're looking for pairs. So I got a pair of 2's, pair of 3's, so I bring out a 2 and a 3. The 2 is left inside. Now the 3, the 2, and the 3 we have on the outside, we multiply together, get 18, and 2 is still stuck inside. So that 3 isn't an index, it's a coefficient. It's a big 3, not a little 3. Same thing here, 3 times the square root of 8. So we bring down our 3. 8 breaks into 3 2's, so we have a pair of 2's. We bring out a 2. This 2 doesn't have a pair, so it stays inside. And 3 times the 2 on the outside is 6, so 6 root 2. Here, 4 times the square root of 36, well, we know the square root of 36 is 6. We could look for pairs as well, but we know the square root of 36. So it's 4 times 6, 24. Same with the next one. 2 times the square root of 25. We know the square root of 25. It's 5. So it's 2 times 5 and 10. And the last one before we simplify is 3 root 18. 18 is a 2 and 2 3's. I already have a 3. And now I bring out another 3 from the pair. So 3 times 3 is 9. And I have the 2 still stuck inside. So 9 root 2. So I have 18 root 2 plus 6 root 2 minus 9 root 2 plus 24 minus 10. Well, I add up all my root 2's. 18 plus 6 is 24 minus 9 is 15 root 2. And then I add up my two numbers. 24 minus 10 is 14. Again, these two are not like terms. The 14 doesn't have a square root. And the square root of 2 is not a whole number like 14. So we just keep it how it is. Last one here. So the cube root of negative 40, we just bring down the negative, make the whole answer negative. 40 breaks down into 3 2's and a 5. It's an index of 3, so I want a group of 3. So I have one group of 3, I bring out my 2. 5 doesn't have a group, it's still stuck inside. 2 times the cube root of 135, we bring down the 2. 135 can be broken down into a 5 and 3 3's. I want a group of 3. So I have 3 3's, I bring out a 3, times the 2 that was already there, so 6, and I have 5 still stuck inside, so 6 times the cube root of 5. And then here, 7 times the cube root of 5, well, you can't break down 5 anymore, so that's done. So we have negative 2 cube root of 5, minus 7 times the cube root of 5, minus 6 times the cube root of 5. They're all like terms. We add up the coefficients, negative 2 and negative 7 is negative 9, negative 6 and negative 15. So let's go step by step through this. Add up your like radicals and simplify your radicals first.